Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. With me today are Bishop Robert Griffin, he's my husband, you know, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world.
In 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots magazine, the 5th anniversary of Queer News Tonight with nearly 10,000 stories and 10 million views in 2024. We are producing Pride Fest Diversity Pride and Pride Fort Lauderdale.
We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective, using faith to resist right-wing autocracy. RNC Chair, North Carolina Senate candidate and Episcopalian, Michael Whatley, has said it is his mission to get more people of faith involved in politics and has called the GOP the party of faith. His Senate bid is endorsed by Donald Trump himself.
But Whatley's church, the Episcopal Church, is often at odds with Trump's agenda. The denomination's presiding bishop, Rowe, recently said in an interview that the church is experiencing a reckoning on its proximity to political power.
Whatley's own parish, St. Mark's in Gastonia, is self-described as progressive and caring about social issues such as hunger, homelessness, and racism. St. Mark's website notes that people of all genders and sexual orientations serve as clergy in the Episcopal Church.
Robert Orr, a former North Carolina Supreme Court judge and former gubernatorial candidate, is also Episcopalian. He recently said in an interview that, and I'm quoting, "All the basic tenets of Christianity are completely at odds with the policies being imposed by the Trump administration," end quote. Cutting funding for school lunches and ending humanitarian aid to poor countries are among the examples Orr gives of Trumpian policies conflicting with the gospel. He said, again quoting, "Those who are in lockstep with Mr. Trump have an obligation to explain how such policies are not inconsistent with the teachings that you hear on Sunday in your pulpits," end quote.
Following the January 6th attack on the Capitol, Orr left the Republican Party. He has been quoted as saying that voters who supported Trump in response to appeals to their faith were used in a cynical way to exploit their beliefs on social issues and conservative flashpoints.
We remember with admiration the Episcopal Bishop of D.C., Marian Edgar Buddy, pleading with Trump in person the day after the 2024 inauguration to have mercy on queer and trans children who are afraid for their lives. She also advocated for undocumented residents, saying, quote, "Some may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals," end quote. Her pleas seem to have fallen on unreceptive ears and a heart of stone, but her courage, grace, and compassion should be applauded all the same.
Another defector from the GOP for Christian reasons is the former Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, Jeff Duncan. He has been disillusioned with the GOP since Trump attempted to hijack the 2020 election. He says he has been struggling as a person of faith in the Republican Party because, as a Christian, he is compelled to love his neighbor, and he was finding that difficult to accomplish while supporting GOP policies. Duncan says the best way to love our neighbor is through public policy, and he finds the GOP's handling of gun safety issues, health care reform, Medicaid, and immigration to be unloving. In the end, he chose his faith over his political party.
Perhaps the teaching of Jesus can change hearts and minds, but how many churches in the United States are preaching love of neighbor and practicing what they preach? You know, this is one of those stories that kind of had my head doing a double take on so many different levels, because what comes to mind for me is that if you profess to be Christian, and you act upon the tenets and the principles of what it means to be a Christian, then I find it is hard. I'm hard pressed to believe that you can really lift up the Trump administration as the example of being a Christian witness when so many things under this current administration in 8 months, it's only been 8 months, have gone so contrary to the teachings.
Years?
Only months, 8 months, goes contrary to what Christian upbringing, if you will, teaches us about loving our neighbor, taking care of those who are not able to take care of themselves, feeding people, clothing people, visit those who are in prison. Visit those who are in prison. You know, just the basic tenets of what, you know, love thy neighbor as thyself, things we grew up with. To be examples of what it means to be Jesus' love in the world, to show compassion. These are not things I believe to be of this current administration. So when I hear people like these who are questioning their politics and questioning their faith, God help me trying to do the same thing, because it's like we're all in this together trying to figure it out based on how we've been raised to our lived experience of our faith today, and to watch all this stuff unravel in front of us. I cannot agree that the Republican Party is the party of faith.
Yeah,
No.
agree.
There may be faithful people in it, but I'm not sure what they're being faithful to
Fewer and fewer.
or what they're being faithful about if they're continuing to lift up this administration and this current president as the example of what it means to be love and compassion in this unjust world. There's a lot of work to be done. We all need to go back to Sunday school if that's the case.
Yeah.
Ralph Waldo Emerson said, that you will worship something. So be careful what you're worshiping, because what you're worshiping, you are becoming.
Yay.
And it was who was it? One of the founders, the humanist. His name's went on my head, but who said belief in a cruel God makes a cruel person. And so we're seeing that. With MAGA, we're seeing that with evangelicalism, we're seeing that with fundamentalism. We've been seeing that for 40 years, and maybe longer. I've only been paying attention for about 40 years, because I'm not quite 60 my own self, but certainly for the last 40, 45 years, we have seen the sacralization of cruelty. We've seen people in the name of faith demonized, dehumanized, demoralized, discredited, treated, objectified, treated as if they were subhuman. Except even that's not, if you believe that, that's still not an excuse, because animals should be treated better than that. The environment should be treated better than that. That we have decided that being cruel, being hateful, being judgmental, reducing people, and diminishing them and demonizing them, somehow that is about faith. If your faith is the dark side of the Force in Star Wars, maybe, but no, I mean, where is love your neighbor? Where is the golden rule? Where is Jesus seeing a multitude of hungry people and without asking a single question, telling his people, feed them? Where is let the children come to me? Which, by the way, in that story, is the people with the least agency, the least power, the least influence, the least seen. Children, you do not get more vulnerable or nobody than a child. And he says, let these most vulnerable among us come to me. Well, where is that in your attack on trans people? Where is that on your attack on bodily autonomy? Where is that on your rounding up people just because they didn't tick some boxes to save their lives to be here, and now they are in tents and cages? That's not Christian. That's not human. That's certainly not the better angels of our nature. So where is the, and not just visit them in prison, visit them in prison as if you were in prison. Like solidarity with the suffering, solidarity with the vulnerable. That's the Christian witness. That's the prophetic witness before the church. That is the witness of the early church, the apostles, and even the Apostle Paul, who we have some issues with maybe. But when it came down to this, he was about feeding the hungry people and healing the sick people and standing up to injustice. So the people have redefined Christianity to say they're being Christian, when you don't need Jesus to be mean. You could be mean all by yourself. Why are you blaming it on Jesus? You could be an asshole without Jesus, and you're not doing Jesus any favor by blaming your hatefulness on Jesus. That's not a Jesus thing.
Right. I've known for quite a while now that there are different kinds of Christians.
Yeah.
And a very wise person once said, some of the most hateful people I've ever met in my life are Christian. Wow, this just puts it right out there. I mean, just be a decent person. Just be a decent person before anything else. I mean,
if you get that right, then you can move on to Jesus.
Exactly.
Just be a person.
Exactly.
And the question always is, why do you need to have someone justify your ugliness? If you are a Christian and you're using the Bible that most of us use, you don't see any of that in Jesus.
Yeah.
So why then would you think that it would be appropriate to go out there and harm the least of the least? Why would you be as cruel as you are? And I have, I think, a part of an answer. So much of the Christian fundamentalist movement has become a political movement, in my opinion, where if you have a politician who is preaching your message of deprivation, what I mean is taking away from people things that they have. If you have a politician who thinks the way you do about people of color, who thinks the way you do about our trans brothers and sisters, thinks the way you do, and I mean in a negative way, about so many people, then you feel very comfortable in supporting that person because that person is saying things that you truly believe. So no, you don't need Jesus to be ugly, but you do need a politician who is reaching into your pocket, taking everything that you own, because they're advocating your ugliness. So it's not Jesus, it's not what would Jesus do, it's what would the ugliest politician that we have do. And that's what we're living through right now, to me.
There is someone who, in front of us, on live international television, instigated a riot, a mob attack on the Capitol on January the 6th. And 4.5 years ago, we saw that. We saw it in real time. People died in the days following as a result of it. People were injured. People were terrorized. People defecated in the Capitol. People had to hold up in their offices in safe spaces because they were coming. They broke windows. It was an ugly, ugly mess. The person who not only instigated it, but then waited more than 8 hours to even say anything about it, has now a few weeks before you're saying this, taken over the Capitol in the name of crime control. A 34-time felon, adjudicated rapist who instigated an attack on the Capitol has now seized the capital city to protect it from crime? And who's supporting him? Evangelicals.
Yay.
Fundamentalist Christians, right-wing Christians, Christian nationalists. That's not patriotism. That's not faith. That's not decency. And so you may think it's a good thing. You may think he is just doing the best thing in the world. What he's not doing is anything that Jesus modeled or spoke about. What he's not doing is anything that the apostles lived and died for. What he's not doing is anything commensurate with the prophetic tradition. So you can admire him. That tells me all I ever want to know about you. But you can admire him. But please don't have the temerity and the perfidy to pretend that's Christian.
Yes, and yes.
Because if that's Christian, please God, let me be anything else.
Amen.
And that's today
Amen.
with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, I want to invite you to check out our Performing Arts series. Yes, the season is up on us. Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts has a great acts lined up for the 2025 and 2026 season. Here is a taste of what's coming up.
Golden Ghouls. Picture it. Halloween 2025 will be on our stage one night only, October 25th.
Then on November 7th, we will welcome back Miss Coco Peru in Fuck This Shit. If this show is like her other tours de force, there will be storytelling, laughs, singing, and a moral to tie up the evening. Or maybe this one is entirely different. You'll have to come to the show to know for sure. but you already know it's going to be one of the best nights of comedy and drag artistry you will have enjoyed all year.
December 7th brings Matthew Darren's annual Holiday Fantasia, always amazing, and this year it will again be co-hosted by Varla Jean Merman.
And in 2026, there are already some great shows lined up, such as selections from Pearly, a musical based on the play Pearly Victorious by Ozzie Davis on February the 7th. And for more information about these shows and others, and to secure your tickets, go to sunshinecathedral.org/arts.
Please like and share this episode on your social media and look for Sunshine Cathedral on Facebook or Instagram.
You can also like our individual pages on Facebook. Remember to visit sunshinecathedral.org frequently. There you will find Bishop Talk, where Bishop Darrell and I interview queer religious leaders, activists, and scholars.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we're all in this together. Also remember, you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad.